Hi. So I know I haven't kind of done a video blog in a while because I rambled on about an American in Paris and stuff like that instead. And you will notice that I haven't done any like hair or anything today because I'm tired. And the reason I'm tired is that yesterday we got in at like 8 o'clock last night from a weekend away in London, and I just wanted to recap it and tell you how amazing the show that we went to go see was. Which we went to go see. Everybody's talking about Jamie, and I am one of these people that is now talking about Jamie because I loved it. It was incredible. I'm obsessed with it and I can't stop listening to the soundtrack. And I advise you very strongly to do the same. Um, so yeah, a little bit more on that later. Um, we had one of those weird weekends where just fate seemed to kind of take over. There was so many weird little coincidences and stuff like that that you honestly could not write. Weird little decisions that changed stuff. So yeah, we had a bit of a palaver getting down to London. We had a bit of a mare. We were stood on Gould train station for ages waiting for our like 9:30 train that it turns out had been cancelled, and nobody thought to really say anything about it. So we had to all pack on this really, really rammed train. That the first stop was Doncaster, where we were getting off, so that was fine. But we were supposed to go to Meadowhall and Sheffield. And, like 2/3 of the way to Doncaster, the fella came round who, to say he worked on a train, was really poor at walking on moving trains. Like, he kept falling over, which was just weird. And he came down and said, yeah, we're terminating this train at Doncaster. Won't be going any further, so if you're going any further, reassess, pal, That was a bit weird. Like, great. So we've been stood up like this, like sardines, and the kids that are rammed next to us aren't even going to their destination anymore, so that was good. A load of football fans, everyone was drinking on the station. Not so keen on that. So yeah, everyone piled off at Doncaster. You could hear all the chants as they were going off to their platform to go wherever it was that they were going. I didn't even bother to look at what was playing because I don't care. And yeah, we got on the train to London. All going well. Lovely seats, very comfortable, happy as a clam. And then all of a sudden we stopped in Peterborough. We weren't supposed to stop in Peterborough. That wasn't supposed to happen. And an hour later, after sat at the station staring at the really disappointed train spotters who had no trains going through, they told us that there was a broken down train further up the line. And we all had to get on this other train that was combining at least two trains because the driver had signed off to say he was happy with a diversion route that would get us into London, but, loads later than planned. So we were supposed to get into London, I think it was like 12 o'clock. We had to sit on the floor between carriages because there was no seats to be had whatsoever. The people that were already on that train had seats, which is fair enough, and everybody else was standing. To be fair, it was quite a jovial atmosphere. People were talking between themselves, and actually, I think, got a bit of shut eye when we were sat on the floor. I was sat in that weird accordion bit that kind of rocks between carriages, so very, very relaxing, actually. Yeah, I got into London about 2:30, which there were people on the train that had matinee tickets, and we nearly did that, so I'm really glad that we didn't, because I'd have been furious if we'd have missed a matinee performance. Yeah, less than ideal, but we got there in the end. We had no major plans. We were going to go climb up St Paul's, but we didn't really have time for that, because by the time we got down Kingsway to where it goes off to like the Strand, or you turn left as if you're going to like St Paul's, it was like gone 3 o'clock. It's a good couple of hours. I didn't think we'd get back in time, have something to eat, all the rest of that faff. We really wouldn't have done it justice, so we didn't bother to do that. Went instead, walked down the Strand to Trafalgar Square. There was like 4 different protests going on all at once. So the first one we passed was around Indie House. Then there was a women against women who've been killed by men kind of rally in Trafalgar Square, which, to be fair, was good. Although probably don't send a man into that. That was less than ideal. And then there was another protest outside the National Portrait Gallery. So we decided to go in there, which I went in once, probably 8 years ago, something like that. And I think I got really lost and didn't see anything great. I kind of got lost in like the 15th century stuff, which don't get me wrong, it's incredible that they are there, and it's amazing artwork, and the fact that it's survived and you know, people still study it and take everything that they do from it is brilliant. It's just not my bag. So we went in there. I felt very cultured, saw some Constable and Turner or whatever. Don't ask me why, but I'd never realised that they had Van Gogh in there. So we went and saw Sunflowers and the Chair. That was such a crowded room. Like, everyone was clearly going to see Sunflowers, which is fair enough. It's one of the most famous paintings in art history. So that was cool. Saw that. Love a gift shop. Went to the gift shop, and anyone that knows me will know that I'm a little bit obsessed with historical baubles for my Christmas tree. So I've already got, from when I went to St Paul's Cathedral before, already got Nelson. I've got Charles Darwin at the Natural History Museum. I've got a suffragette. I've got Queen Victoria. Yeah, so a little bit obsessed with that. So obviously, when we went to the National Gallery, got a little Monet. He's even got a water lily. How cool is that? And a little Vincent van Gogh with a sunflower. So they're going to adorn my tree now. You've not seen the last of baubles, incidentally, by the way, so here's 2 new additions. Can't wait to put them on. Gonna have the most like historically interesting tree in town, I think. So yeah, I've got some of them. They were cool. Yeah, they were basically moseyed on down to Buckingham Palace to see if the Queen was in. She was not, which was rude. She should have been there, frankly. But it's the weekend and we think she goes to Windsor. I'm not entirely sure why she does her weekending. We think it's Windsor. But, you know, Lawton Jeans took over and had an ice cream as we walked through St James's Park and went around that way. Can't go anywhere without having an ice cream. Don't know why. Just can't be done. Just thought to myself a really fancy one. So yeah, 2 flavours walking through there. That was good. Saw Buckingham Palace, went around up to see Big Ben all enclosed. I've never, well, I've been when it was like just starting to have the work done, but I've never ever been to London and not seen kind of Elizabeth Tower. Obviously you don't see Big Ben. It really annoys me when people say where's Big Ben, because I'm like, it's inside Elizabeth Tower actually. You can't visibly see it, but that's a story for another day. But yeah, I've never ever seen it completely hidden from view. So we went and dropped stuff off at the hotel. I had a palaver with the rooms, which was just, it took me like 20 minutes to explain to the guy in the front desk the booking that I'd actually done, because he was like, no, you have not ticked that box. I have ticked the box. I have ticked the box that I think I've ticked. It became a bit of a matter of principle that I was not going to back down from the fact that I had booked a twin room and not a double room, and I don't care if they're allocated on arrival. I ticked the box. Like, you know, I'm not precious about it, but once you're telling me I'm wrong, by God, game over. So yeah, anyhow, after all that kerfuffle, did that, dropped bags off because we'd backpacked it rather than suitcase it. So yeah, it was quite heavy, trolling around up and down the mall with them on our back. So we dropped them off, went back into London. It was the only trip where we used the tube. We walked everywhere. And we went to the Apollo Theatre to see Everybody's Talking About Jamie, which was amazing. So there we are. Everybody's talking about Jamie. Programme's a bit damp because it rained on the way back, so it's already looking like it's seen better days, but that just adds to the story of the day we went, so I'm cool with that. If you want my recommendation for seats, we were in the Grand Circle and we were about 4 rows back in the middle, and that was probably some of the best seats that you could get. It's a really tiny theatre, so you're never going to have a bad view, but I feel like it's a bit of a spectacle, and the staging of it and the set and everything is probably best enjoyed from slightly elevated. The set was incredible. It looked like a school. It was very niche, but if you went to my school and like the new building as it was then that's now gone, it looked like that. It looked so real to like a Yorkshire-based comprehensive, and it's set in Sheffield, so everybody spoke like us. There was a reference at one point, and I was chuckling away to myself because I thought 90% of his audience will not get that. Jamie, for his birthday, gets a pair of bright red high heels because he wants to be a drag queen, and his mum's like, you go be a drag queen, Jamie, you do you, mate. So I'm going to buy you your heels because that's all you want for your birthday. Like, best mum ever. She was so cool. But what she actually said was, oh yeah, I went and got you these shoes from Meadowhell. And I was just like, that's brilliant. That's exactly what we all call it around here. Everybody else that was London based was just like, she's been got some shoes from Meadowhell. We were just like, yeah, she's been to Meadowhell. Leighton Williams as Jamie. Oh my god. That lad can move and that lad can act. Like, it was so good. So good. And there was so many really funny lines in there. Pretty, who was his best friend, he like said to her first at school, I want to be a drag queen, and she was just like, okay. He said, do you think that's weird? And she said, yeah, but I'm weird because I study real hard and nobody else around here does this, and they all think that I'm odd and pick on me for it. So what, why should I say what's weird? Why should anybody say what's weird? Everything's weird to somebody, kind of thing. Yeah, she was just wicked. I absolutely loved her. She was amazing. And then at the end, Jamie kind of fights to go to his prom in a dress because that's how he wants to be. That's Jamie. That's him being authentic to himself. And his teacher's like, no, you can't come in. And he says, you know what, that's fine. I've come to the prom. I've worn my dress. I've seen my friends. Everybody else can have an amazing night. I'm not about stepping on anyone's toes. I just want you to be me and come and see everybody off. And everyone else kind of goes, okay, that's fine. And then Pretty, and it honestly makes me well up, and I don't know why. Pretty just stood there in the middle of the stage, and she'd been really like plainly dressed, glasses on. She wore a hijab, and she was wearing a really like glittery one and a beautiful dress for the prom. She just stood there in the middle of the stage and was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And everyone just fell apart laughing. And she got everyone to like walk out of the prom like, no, if Jamie's not coming in, neither are we. And it was brilliant. I loved that. Yeah, she was my favourite character. Apart from Jamie's mum, probably. They were they were a tie between the two of them. Jamie's mum made us cry. But she had such a voice. And she was such an actress. Like, she really made you kind of feel sorry for her, but at the same time feel that she was really strong. And I thought that was a really good balance. So I loved that. Yeah. The songs are incredible as well. I mean, I've been listening to the soundtrack, and I was saying that it's like you don't identify with the songs on a soundtrack the same way. So when I was listening to the soundtrack, Everybody's Talking About Jamie was my favourite song because it was really lively and bouncy and blah, blah, blah. In the actual theatre, that was not my favourite song. Like, It Means Beautiful was probably my favourite one, where Pretty's telling Jamie, look, just because your dad doesn't agree with what you do, and just because somebody else at school has said that it's wrong and it's disgusting or whatever, you know, your name in kind of Eastern culture and like, you know, Indian culture, it means beautiful. You know, you need to own the fact that you're beautiful. And it really like struck more of a chord for me than it does listening to the soundtrack, which is interesting. So now I'm listening to that a lot more because I've listened to it like 4 times since I've come home. But you know, that's what you do, and you just get obsessed with something, or I do anyway. But yeah, Everybody's Talking About Jamie. I do have a slight allergic reaction to Shane Ritchie, who was in it, but he wasn't in it that much, in all fairness, and he wasn't that bad. I think what I've always had against Shane Ritchie is I feel he's the absolute epitome of mediocrity. I feel he's a mediocre singer, a mediocre dancer, a mediocre actor, and a mediocre presenter. I feel like we're celebrating that about him, and I don't think that's a good thing. But actually, he was okay. You know, he sang. Oh my god, his song. He was a retired drag queen in a shop called Victor's Secret, which I loved. But his character's called Hugo, so Victor Hugo, like the author of Les Mis. Brilliant. Enjoyed that a lot. He was a retired drag queen called Loco Chanel, and he was telling the backstory that he created of Loco Chanel. And she had this white dress on, but then she killed a lover. And as she walked behind one of the racks of clothing, like, she never even stopped. This really long flowing white dress that she'd been flicking about and was obviously a white dress. There was nothing underneath it or hiding or whatever. It just turned red. And I don't know how she did it, but it was a quick change act. And if there's one thing I love most in this world, it's a quick change act. So, yeah. Thoroughly recommend that. Absolutely 100%. That's probably works its way up to like top 5 musicals for me. It was brilliant. And as I say, everybody speaking like us, it proper made it real relatable. So it just rung a lot of chords. You know, it was very, very well done. And I can see why everybody heaps praise on it. And Leighton Williams, God, he's such a dancer. How he like kicks about his legs like that in heels, I'll never know because I can't even walk in them. But if Kinky Boots and everybody's talking about Jamie has taught me everything, it is that you need a pair of bright red heels in your life to kind of go for that. You can't do it in just anything. But yeah, go see Everybody's Talking About Jamie. I really enjoyed that. And as we were leaving the theatre, it was weird because earlier in the night I'd realised that Company was next door, and I remember thinking to myself, oh my god, can you imagine if we're leaving the theatre and running to like Richard Fleischman or Patti LuPone? That'd be amazing if it kicked out at the same time. But we left Jamie and it was all quiet in there, so whether they finished earlier or later than us, I don't know, because Jamie was 2 hours and 40 minutes, which is quite a long one, in all fairness. It didn't feel it, but it is one of the longer ones that I've been to. But yeah, they were all quiet, so I thought, oh, well, Patty's gone home. Well, not home because she's American, but you know what I mean, gone to where she's staying. And as we were walking past, I thought, we'll go up to Leicester Square Tube because it's easier, less changes. Walking through, and Oliver goes, oh, I don't want to really go back now. I'm not really that tired. Let's walk. We'll walk back, walk along the river, see that at night, whatever. You know, it's raining a bit, but once we're damp, we're damp. Who cares? I was like, all right, fine. So we walked past where Trafalgar Square is, and you go past the Garrick Theatre. And I'd completely not thought about this, but there's a show on at the Garrick Theatre called Rip It Up, and it's basically a load of like Strictly winners and Strictly alumni. So it's Aston Marigold from JLS, Jay McGuinness from The Wanted, Lewis Smith, the gymnast, the Olympic gymnast, and Harry Judd from McFly. And they have like a song and dance show, showcasing their dancing, but then the ones that can sing do a bit of singing and stuff. So yeah, and there was a crowd outside the theatre. And I was like, oh my god, if Harry from McFly is leaving right now, I'm going to like lose my mind. And so I said, right, I'm just going to go have a neb. So I went and I stood at the back of this like crowd, and I'm looking over the tops and I'm thinking, oh yeah, that's Lewis Smith. You know, whatever, I'm not that bothered about him. Bit of a bummer. We should have been somebody better. Can't have everything. And with that, I kind of glanced to my left and realised that about, I don't know, 18 inches from me was Harry from McFly. And I was like, God, it's Harry. It's Harry from McFly. It's a boy band star. It's a Strictly winner. It's everything that I hold dear in this life. So I was like, hold my stuff. I'm going in. So yeah, I got a selfie with Harry from McFly. So I was really giddy about that. And it was just one of those things that if we'd have got on the tube station that we were going to get on, I wouldn't have done that. But it was just a split-second decision of, let's walk. Just one of those, let's do that kind of things. And it ended up in meeting Harry from McFly. So that was cool. Walked back to the hotel, and we stayed just behind the Tate, like the street behind the Tate. So that was pretty good, actually. It was a decent walk, but it wasn't a bad walk. Walk along the South Bank and see all that at night all lit up. That was cool. So yeah, that was day one. Happy days. Achieved a lot. Saw a really good musical, met a boy band star, bought some baubles. Happy as a clam. Sunday was so windy. I thought I was going to get blown off Millennium Bridge. You know, we walked over to see St Paul's because we couldn't go in because it was Sunday, and they don't have like the proper touristy bit on Sunday. They have actual worship because they're a cathedral, so which is fair enough. You could go into Matins, I think it was. I don't really know what Matins is, but apparently it's like a church thing. I don't know. But yeah, I didn't really want to sit through a service if we had other things planned. So we saw that. It was Commonwealth Day. They were ringing the bells and all that good stuff. We sort of hoped the Queen might go to that, but she was avoiding us, man. Like, I don't know what we've done to offend her, but she was not about. So yeah, instead we walked up to the Tower of London, which actually is a pretty fair walk, really. So walked up to the Tower of London, went in the tower, saw the crown jewels, did all the usual tower-related stuff. And then in another weird coincidence, Oliver was like, let's go have a brew. We'll go have a cuppa, bit of cake, whatever, tied us on. Went into one of the cafes, and at the exact same moment that we were aiming for, like, the counter where you get all your stuff, there was a lady that he works with in there. Like, why do you always see somebody local when you go away? It was so weird. It was such a coincidence that it just so happened at that exact moment. If we'd have done it like 5 minutes earlier or later, wouldn't have noticed and wouldn't have been there, but there you go. So that was such a weird coincidence. That was really bizarre. Yeah, I've been to the tower before and kind of did all the usual stuff. Saw the stuff that you want to see. Saw the crown jewels. Saw a few beefeaters. They had the church service on as well, so we heard them singing, but you can't go in, especially not mid-service. So yeah, I did all that usual stuff. I mean, it's not really changed in hundreds and hundreds of years, so I'm not really going to go into too much detail about that. If you've been, you've been. If you've not, you've not. Yeah. I got asked for directions twice as well. It's like a standing joke that I'm so good at directions in London, but so poor at directions everywhere else. I have a terrible sense of direction, but twice did I get asked for directions. Twice. I must just look like I know what I'm doing there, which is weird because I felt like in a raincoat and with my backpack, I kind of looked like a tourist, but apparently I look really, brilliant at geography of London skills. Who knew? So we did that, and then had a slow walk back to King's Cross station. Saw a few bits and pieces on the way. Walked along the river again. Walked along, obviously, the embankment rather than the south bank. Saw a few stuff. Then veered off a different way to what I normally go to the station. Saw a few bits. Saw the Foundling Hospital, Lincoln's Inn Fields, past John Soane's Museum. We weren't far from Dickens' house, but didn't go see it. So a load of little streets, like that looked like Baker Street, or looked like how Baker Street is always represented in Sherlock Holmes things, because Baker Street's quite modern now. But yeah, if you've ever seen a Sherlock Holmes film, it looked like that. Looked like the Doctor's house from the musical Oliver. Well, a lot of kind of streets like that, if you picture that, the marble steps and all that. So saw a lot of good stuff. Went and people watched at the station for a bit. Got on the train, fingers crossed, please don't let there be any cancellations. And we ran into Oliver's old colleague and her daughter again on the train on the way back, which was just so weird. Couldn't do that again if we tried. It was just insane. But also, while I was at the tower, on the historical bauble theme, Elizabeth I, everyone. Yep, you know what you say, because she's ginger and wearing a lot of gold. And then I got a multi-pack of baubles. Are you having this? Henry VIII. It's even got the dates on the back of his wife. It says Henry VIII, Catherine of Aragon, who is always my favourite, defeated James IV in his absence. That's pretty badass. I love her for that. Anne Boleyn, obviously, in green sleeves, like what they did there. Jane Seymour, always looking really kind of holy. I don't know why, but she always strikes me as that. I think it's because she died. I think that's what it is. Anne of Cleves, who they resisted the temptation to make her look really ugly, which I'm glad of. Catherine Howard and Catherine Parr. What I like is that the beheaded ones are on silver strings and everybody else is on gold. I like the fact that they've themed the beheadeds. I don't know why that appeals to me. It just does. But on the back as well, it says where they all kind of lived and died. So yeah, divorced beheaded died, divorced beheaded survived. Which reminds me, I really want to go see Six, the musical. But I'm looking forward to having all the wives on the tree. My only concern is that I'm going to get so far upon hanging them and be like, oh wait, which one are you? So I don't really know how to tackle that. Obviously Silver's beheaded and Anne Boleyn's always going to be in green, so that one's easy enough. It's just when you get to the Anne of Cleves, Catherine Parr one, for some reason, they're always the two that I get muddled in my brain. No idea why. But yeah, all in all, good weekend had by all, and I can definitely see why everybody's talking about Jamie. You need to go see it. It is, and I know I've blogged about why saying feel-good musical kind of rattles my cage when people say it like it's a bad thing, but that was a feel-good. I came out of that feeling really kind of just, immensely pleased and immensely proud of Pretty for standing up. There was one bit where kind of the school bully had been outnumbered because everyone was like, look, Jamie's just been him. We stand by Jamie kind of thing. And he came going and saying to Pretty, oh, you're just some specky whatever, and chowing. And this was at the prom. And you're like, oh, what do you think you're dressed up as, wearing all your makeup, And she just stood there and went, "Do you know what? I've got the rest of my life to be me. You're going to be important to these people for the next 5 hours, and once we've left school, you're forgotten. You're not in anybody's life anymore. Enjoy this while you can, because after tonight, you're going to be nobody." I loved that. Like, there was a cheer, a genuine cheer. The whole kind of auditorium was like, "Whoa, go Pretty." Loved it. So yeah, you come out of that feeling amazing. And what I didn't expect was, I thought I'd just be like, "Whoa, go Jamie, I love this kid, da 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 da." I loved his mum. I loved his mum's best friend. I loved Pretty. I loved the other girls in the class, even though they started off a bit ropey. I loved that they were big enough to change their mind and go, "Look, whatever, mate, you know, boys in the class, wind your neck in, we're with Jamie." I loved everything. I loved everything. Also, it's weird that Jamie was wearing our old school tie. Like, that was a bit odd. That kind of like bring it on home even more. But yeah, if you want my recommendation for a feel-good show to go see Everybody's Talking About Jamie. And also, weirdly, when we went past like the theatre and saw that, I went, "Oh my god, how does he get his makeup so good?" I love that. Why do drag queens always have really amazing makeup? I can never make mine look as fantastic as that. And I'm trying to find it, below me down in the programme is like a how-to guide of what is used. Well, I'm going shopping because I want to look that good. It's just not fair. It's not fair. But yeah, everybody is talking about Jamie. And I am one of these everybody. Loved it.